Let's go live. Let's.
Good
destroy
evening,
the world.
everybody. Welcome to another live stream. I'm just having a pipe.
Get you.
I've been a little bit under the weather, people, so I do apologise if I seem a little bit subdued. Came down yesterday with like a gastroenteritis thing. But I honestly feel a hell of a lot better than I did yesterday after a good night's sleep. So, as I say, I shall apologise for being a little subdued.
I'll make up for it.
Yeah, David will be hyper and make up for it.
Let's be salty. I haven't had any caffeine yet today.
Oh my God.
Subdue that with some beer in a minute.
So, we all hope you had a good week of hobby since you pipe Paul and disaster David. I don't know about that, Tim. I have my fair share of fucking technical disasters when I'm running this thing.
I mean, it comes with the age, though, doesn't it?
So, for everybody who's joining us for the first time, hello, welcome to the Yellow Belly Tabletop Hobby live stream. Over the next couple of hours, we will be running through a few things. Our usual format is David and I will show you what we're going to be hobbying on while we chat away. Feel free to get your painting projects, hobby projects out and work along with us, because that's what this is all about, really. Getting us all together to do some hobby.
Chat some shit.
Then we will have a brief chat about what we did at Gaming Club on Monday, which is going to feed into our main topic. And I'm hoping that we're going to get some awesome advice from our audience tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away, but we'll talk about that later.
Spoilers. Then we'll just chat and have a little bit of an informal waffle. We've got a couple of news items to cover, but there isn't much really.
A grand amount.
And then we'll get into our main topic. It might be a little bit early tonight, but
oh no, I dropped a halfling.
We wanted to discuss large scale. By that I don't mean the miniature scale, I mean the amount of miniatures on the table. Fantasy war games. Well, Limburger or Cheese Me, however you want to be known, that is the crux. That is the nub.
Trevor's fucking wandering in with spoilers. For fuck's sake, Trevor.
So, mate, do you want me to go first with the what we are hobbying on?
Yes, because I'm still setting up and getting miniatures out, okay, because I left it to 2 minutes to 8 to come online this evening.
Right, okay, so this is what I'm working on. Anybody going to guess what it is?
Assassin's Creed or Strigoi?
Yeah, it's a Strigoi from TT Combat's Carnivale game, which is a sort of like post-medieval apocalypse game.
Venetian 16th, 17th century? Renaissance.
This is my last miniature for my first 2 box sets of Carnivale. When I've painted this, I have completed the Airborne Cannibals box set, and I've also completed the Dracula and his Brides box set. So,
oh, David, you're a dickhead.
So that's what I'm going to be working on.
Just tough years.
Probably just putting down some flesh tones. Hi, tough years. And we'll see how we get on with it. This model's got some weird scales on the skin. I think I'm going to go for like a blue-grey to contrast with the purple, because the flesh tone will end up very purple once I put a load of washes on it, because that's what I've been doing for the rest of the vampires in the warband. This is just sort of like a base note, this stone grey.
Oh, you're a bit fucking white.
But yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on. So, what about you, mate?
What about me? We're still cracking on with the Spring Clean project. We're
Yep.
Powering through these.
It's more League of Infamy.
More League of Infamy, more halflings, using express colour and contrast and getting there is what we're doing. So
how many miniatures have you got on the go at the minute?
Bear with me. Let me move out a bit so people can see the state of my fucking desk.
Wow.
Is that enough? Is that enough for you?
Wow.
Is that enough for you all?
Don't drop them, for God's sake.
Oh no, they're everywhere. Back down we go, boys and girls. So yeah, we're working on a lot of miniatures right now.
Right. Okay. So let's crack on. Well, now then, you sound off in the chat, you guys. What are we working on? I noticed that Darren was in earlier. Hello, goodbye, Darren. Darren's going to catch us on the rewatch. He's got something on by the looks of it. So what are you guys hobbying on? Darren's normally the man who's always busy. Is anybody else working on anything? No Assassin's Creed. Tough years, I'm afraid.
Look, I can't help it, all right?
I mean, be fair to the guy. He is doing... There we go, let's get rid of David's table. Doing a little bit of chaos for a Warhammer World trip. Oh, is this the new Slaves to Darkness model, Tuffy? Or is it 40k chaos, or what? Tim's trying to stay awake. You've been burning the candle at both ends, Tim.
He's been doing it me. Don't fall asleep. Like I did on Sunday night.
Limburger's Cheese Me saying that you're probably going to spill some paint. Cool, boo. Hello, Orinoco. He's working on some GCPS.
Ooh, somebody's playing either some Dead Zone or some Firefight.
It's Black Legion 40k. Nice. Do you know what? I always wanted to do a 40k Chaos Space Marine Army, but I never did. It was one of those products I never got round to. The only Chaos I've ever really done is Demons. Although,
actually, Ginge.
Yes.
We need to go back to my camera because we have news to update the boys and girls with what we were doing at the weekend.
Okay. Oh, with our hobby thing.
Yes.
So, David and I have been working on the Kings of War starter set for Club. And we've been doing it as sort of like a joint project. And we were just smashing out the Goblin miniatures. Mostly with Vallejo Express and Contrast, isn't it, mate?
Yep. Vallejo Express, Contrast, and then a little bit of metallic-y goodness.
Upworlders. Yeah. Upworlders going to be playing on computer game by the looks of it.
I can't find the wizard. But yes, that was...
They're looking pretty good. For everybody at home, that blue is actually Vallejo Express...
Black Lotus.
Black Lotus. Yeah, black. Maybe not. Could you get arrested for what you did at the weekend?
Where is Paul's favourite miniatures from the weekend, boys and girls at home? Because of the sheer volume of fucking metallics.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, that metallics worked really well. That was
Blackened Barrel by Foundry.
Straight over white primer, which I don't think has come out bad.
No, it hasn't.
Right.
Could I get arrested? Oh, fuck. Well, we're not spilling beer tonight, boy. Oh, we're not spilling paint tonight, boys and girls. We're spilling beer instead.
Oh, God. He's got to spill something.
If it's liquid, it belongs on the floor.
I don't know.
And again, famous last words, Eugene, because you spilt a bottle of fucking glue over your wet palette. So
yeah, I did.
You're
To be
one
fair,
to talk.
that was the funniest thing about Saturday night. If anybody who's been watching us for a while remembers, we were having a good old moan about the contrast green that we were using for the goblin skin. What was it? Orc flesh?
Gut ripper flesh.
Gut ripper flesh. And basically it's just settles out like a bitch. And David was trying to stir it with a coffee stirrer from McDonald's and essentially just slopped it everywhere. It was like a complete
I ended up
mess.
wearing it.
Absolute genius. So just before we move on, here's the rest of the Carnivale models that I've got done.
So much so, it's all over the outside of the paint bottle.
Oh God.
Gut ripper flesh can fucking do one.
So yeah, it's getting there.
Pardon me.
Right.
Right. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm not in a fucking restaurant.
Right. So, gaming club. So, on
Yeah,
Monday,
about that.
David tried his first game of Kings of War, didn't you, mate?
I did. We played, what was it, 500 point list?
Yeah, they were very small.
Elves versus orcs.
Yep.
Oh, yay, my camera's disconnected. Apparently, according to the live stream.
Oh. Really?
Is that your end? Are you being an orangutan?
No.
It's back. Fuck knows.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that. So yeah, we see if I can get this up. So that we played Kings of War. Now, I just threw together two very small lists with my existing collection, just to allow. Oh, your camera's gone again, mate.
It's on. It's working on my end.
I think it's dropping in and out on Discord again.
We really need to move over to like Skype or something.
Yeah, we do. I'm just going to try and refresh Discord and see if I can get it to work.
This was a fucking issue last week.
Yeah, it was indeed.
Lo and behold, boys and girls at home, for those that weren't using Discord last fucking Thursday, we came off stream. Paul had a update to do. 3.5 hours after he'd already all done the other one.
Oh, for God's sake.
Fucking Discord. It's free, you can't complain, but fuck me.
Okay, I'm going to close Discord. It just does not want to know. Okay.
My webcam's perfectly fine. It's Discord and OBS picking it up, isn't it?
Just bear with me, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Discord.
Who's doing 1K Black Legion? Tuffies is doing 1K Black Legion and 1K of Squats versus 1K of Elder and 1K of Crusty Jugglers.
Right, okay. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this. Discord now is not starting at all. It's completely knackered.
Crusty Jugglers.
Just bear with me a second. Oh, for God's sake. Dear Discord, why has your software suddenly become a complete HOS? Oh, I see. Right, okay. End task. Right. can everybody see us again? I apologise. Everything's died. Discord managed to kill OBS. I'm assuming that's what it was.
We're back.
And your
My
video's
camera's no
gone
better.
again.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Okay, I'm not
Just
going.
just listen to my disembodied voice, boys and girls.
I don't know why David's video is flickering in, flickering out, flickering in, flickering out. I do not know what's going on with that. I'm not going to worry about it though. Let's just forget it. Are you there, David?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Okay. So
Shout out, boys and girls at home, if you can hear my dulcet tones.
right. So your video's frozen. I can tell you that, but I'm not going to mess about with it anymore.
No.
We're going to have to look at an alternative solution. So
I have had an idea.
So David wanted to try Kings of War because you've never played a rank and flank fantasy
No, I've never
game, have you, mate?
played any Fantasy 8th edition. I was too late to the party. I've
Yep.
never played any Kings of War. I've never... what's the other one? 8th edition, Kings of War. What's the other one? Paul, help me out here.
Well, to be fair, the only two ones I play, but there's also Oathmark we discovered. But the two large scale fantasy massed unit games that I've played are Kings of War and Fantasy, which I've played for years back from Conquest. Yeah, that's another one, Tim. So now, are you still with us, David?
Yes, I'm still here.
Right.
Just
so we played
disembodied head.
We managed to get 2 500-point games in.
For that.
Orcs versus elves, and the first one, the orcs won, and I played orcs for both games. The second one, you forced a draw, didn't you?
Yes, through sheer luck.
And what were your thoughts then?
Let me just get this started, and then I'll be with you. Right. My thoughts, Kings of War, and rank and flank in general. We only played with basically 2 units each, and I had 2 heroes, you had 3 units, and a single hero instead,
Correct,
didn't you, for the 500 points? Pivoting and movement, yeah, no, that's fair enough. I went quite aggro first game, and I think that was where my downfall was. But I wasn't used to the game, wasn't used to the armies, never played it before, didn't know how quickly your orc wars were going to charge across the fucking table and wipe me out. Was my main concern. Kings of War itself, really nice, really good system by fucking, what was it, turn 3 of game 1. I'd got most of it dialed in for what I was throwing, what I was looking for, etc., everything else.
Yep.
My elf wizard that I borrowed off you needs fucking sacking because he is the world's worst wizard.
The wizard had a 5 dice lightning bolt attack, which was hitting on 4s and 5s in cover, and David did not get anywhere like average performance out of it. It was pathetic, frankly.
Meanwhile, Madriga throwing 3 dice. Fucking every single one's hitting, every single one's wounding. It's just chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
With how the dice were with me.
Dice games. So
dice games and not throwing lots of dice in a dice game.
That's true.
So that was that. First game, yeah, I took it on the chin. Kind of lived and learnt for second game. And we played it. So the first game was just literally kill your fucking opponent.
It was, yeah, literally last man standing sort of thing. Victory points.
And I lost everything other than the wizard?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. I killed you pretty much to the last man, didn't I?
Second game, oh my fucking god, playing with objectives. We kind of thought that I would be on the back foot. 3 objectives, and only your units can hold them before heroes can. Like, if you've got a unit available,
Hello,
it's got to
Crispin.
go after it first before you can use your hero to pick them up. So obviously, advantage here to Paul.
Yeah.
And
'Cause I
I
had 3
really skewed
units.
deployment. I don't know if you've got any pictures of game 2 with how I deployed. Because we changed the table up a bit, didn't we?
I don't think I have. All of my photos of the
game
first
1
game.
stuff.
David
Fuck.
completely overhauled the terrain for the second game, and he put a river in and created like a boxed off zone.
Yeah.
What did you think to the terrain rules?
They're all right. They're like every other game. My only concern is I come from playing Infinity and 40k and everything else where you want 1,000,000,001 pieces of terrain on the table.
Yes.
To not die.
Yes.
And Kings of War does not require 1,000,000,001 pieces of terrain because otherwise movement is fucking crippling.
Yes, it's completely different. You want minimal terrain.
However, there still is an argument to having more terrain on the table with that fucking nerve test. That is the only thing that I absolutely hate about Kings of War.
So the nerve test.
Roll 2 dice, add your wounds. Again, this was possibly due to the number of units. It was just so fucking swingy. There was several times that Paul's unit should have routed because it's got like 6 or 7 damage on it, and it didn't. Meanwhile, me with 3 damage on me, Paul rolls a double 12. Oh yeah, no, that's fucking routed and gone. Bye. For me, it's not ideal.
I did say to you, though, one of the drawbacks of your list was you didn't have any inspiring. Which,
yes,
obviously, you saw how that worked with my Orc War Crudger, my boss.
Yeah.
Able to re-roll those nerve tests or force them to be re-rolled. Can help.
Yeah. But still.
So,
it's
TLDR, you weren't impressed, were you?
I'm not sold. We've booked another game to play at 1,500 points before I make a decision.
Yeah.
But when did we catch up? Tuesday night, didn't we? We had a catch up on stuff. And that's where tonight's topic came from. So we'll discuss that a little bit more later. Because, okay, there's a fair few systems out there. Some of them are very fucking cheap to get into. And I'm probably going to end up with either a Mantic army or a 3D printed dwarf army. I've got a real hankering to paint some dwarves this year.
Regardless of what system you eventually sell
to
on.
play some fantasy. And not just like little skirmish fantasy like Frostgrave or whatever. I'm talking like fucking ranked fantasy.
Yeah.
Because, as I was saying to Paul on Tuesday night, I've canned off AOS and 40k. I play AOS more frequently than I play 40k. I haven't played 40k this edition. But I want a mass combat game or an army-based game to scratch that side of my itch and my painting.
I was looking
versus a lot of skirmish shit.
I was looking at that box, Crispin. It's like 88 quid, I think, from Wayland for
It's
the
insane.
Mega Dwarf Army.
Yeah.
So Crispin owns 3 of the Kings of War Mega Armies. Oh. All in the box. Oh God! It started well and then it went wrong. So
the best of intentions were there.
So Cheeseme's obviously done Kings of War. Who else is a Kings of War player out of those guys in the chat? Obviously, you've got the armies, Crispin, but you've never
used them in cold blood.
Yeah, you've never played them. What about you, Tough Years? Have you played Kings of War? I'll be honest, I do like Kings of War. And I'm a bit disappointed David bounced off it.
I wouldn't say I bounced off it, because I did immediately arrange a second game with you.
Yeah.
My concerns are on the fucking morale system and the dice that we threw.
Right.
Is my current concerns.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't enjoy the game.
Chris has never played it.
I did fucking love it. But for me, it's just got a little too many niggles for me to commit money to at the moment.
So Orinoco has armies in boxes. Some dude on YouTube, or Tim, doesn't play any rank and flank games, but he does own Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6th edition mint in boxed. So Tough Years again played Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Because essentially, yeah, well, we'll come back to it later when we talk about it.
Let's go to the news, shall we?
I haven't really got any news, but David's got a couple to share with everyone. So let's go to the web browser.
There was one more, actually, that I just wanted you to fucking pull up. I've just realised it. Bollocks.
Okay, well, what is it?
Full Spectrum Dominance by the Lazy Forger. The new terrain.
Do you want it to go to his
Facebook page? Or actually, no, it'll be on my mini factory now. It's a bundle. You can go to my mini factory, my man.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I can get this to come up. Here we go. We'll start with that. So, this... Oh, your video's gone again. Hey ho.
Oh, fuck
It'll come back. Oh, and it is back, but frozen. Don't worry, people. We'll just keep plodding on.
Lazy Forger having a sale at the moment on my mini factory to celebrate the release of some new terrain that they've brought out. It's like a research compound. So there's a lot of concrete, blown out walls and other bits and pieces. It's really fucking nice, particularly if you play 6mm games and own a 3D printer. Tim, not looking at you.
So what was this, mate? The Battlefields of Tomorrow?
You know, it's... I can't remember what he's fucking called it now. Bear with me.
You got perimeter walls, street barricades, storage warehouses. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they are cool. It is the Research Compound Bundle.
Research Compound Bundle. Oh, I've got it. Yep.
So
okay.
It's
on sale.
Nice walls, some searchlights, some other bits and pieces, and all in all, it's not a bad set.
They're great little STLs. They look good. So, do you actually have this then, or were you thinking about picking it up?
I'm contemplating while it's on sale because I've got some FSD to build and paint.
That is cool.
Which was actually what I was doing last night with support. Just rescaling the minis, because whilst FSD is a 6mm game, I will be playing it at 10mm because I have DZC terrain to play with. And I'm not a complete and utter heathen.
How did you have a go at the rescaling? How did that go?
It's gone okay. There's some islands, but there's islands in everything, and I'm anal. So we're going to fix that.
I must confess, mate, these look absolutely gorgeous. These
they are
STLs.
Fucking amazing. He's knocked it out of the park again.
I wish we had terrain like this when we played Epic. Would have been very cool.
Fucking tune.
$34.99 Australian dollars of that.
Yeah, it's
Nice. Well,
Maybe?
also, you picked out some bits and pieces from Renedra, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Renedra have some new terrain coming. They have some sci-fi shit. So they've got some 20-foot, some 40-foot containers. They've got some pallets, which I saw, which are all really, really nice.
Yeah, the pallets
And then
do
because
look good.
because I like taking the piss out of Paul, and the fact that we still haven't played a game of Silver Bayonet, despite me buying that Christmas present for him like a year ago.
They're nice little.
There's some really
things,
nice
actually.
stuff here that would fit Silver Bayonet. So there's a ruined church, a ruined barn, and some other bits. It's fucking amazing. It's gorgeous. They're just up the road from us as well, because they're only based in Wisbeach.
Yep. This looks very good. This ramshackle church. 20 quid. And that's 28mm scale, presumably. Well,
Yes.
I think all their stuff is, isn't it? I must confess, I always overlook Renedra. It's shocking, because they are literally just around the corner from us. And I always forget about them. But they've got... They have really great value for money products. Oh, you can buy the shipping containers and pallets as a combined thing.
Yes, you can.
Awesome. Tents. I might have to... They've got some nice bits. Oh, look at these tents.
I know, there's loads of gorgeous stuff, mate.
It's all hard plastic on sprue as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it literally is easy to paint.
Right.
Have I just convinced you to buy some more fucking terrain?
To be fair, do you know what? I will definitely be looking at, I think, at some more Renedra. Because their castle gets a really good... see if I can load this. The castle, I've seen this, people say about this. I mean, it's expensive, I guess, but it's pretty bloody huge. So the large castle kit is 290, but it does look gorgeous, and it's got some great details. It consists of 7 towers, 1 gatehouse, and 8 wall sections. Holy crap. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, that looks nice. Although, expensive. Okay, and they've...
Counterpoint, is it that expensive, though? Because, again, it's plastic. It won't take half the work that MDF castles would.
True. I do get a little bit sick of the amount of work that needs to go into MDF buildings. Because they go all motley and you've got to use special primers and things. Yeah, proper hard plastic from Renedra. Yeah, that's a good point, Orinoco. The Adobe buildings are good from Renedra as well. That's something I don't have in my terrain collection.
What's that?
That's also fair. The flipping Adobe style buildings, that Middle Eastern
Mud hut.
Yeah. Limburger also says the tents, are they better than the Mantic terrain box? Don't know.
Probably not.
Don't know. I can get the castle and then Jerry will rob me. Yeah, that sounds about right. No, not as big as Crispin's castle, but Crispin is fucking psychopathic.
Yeah, but Crispin can
in
live
his hobby
inside his
projects.
castle.
And last of all, let's talk about 40k. The 10th edition spoilers keep
Teasers.
pouring out. I noticed there was a new article went up, I think, today about vehicles. Now they've announced they basically spoiled some of the rules. We're going back to putting characters within units, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is a thing that you already do in one-page rules, Grimdark Future.
Yep.
So it looks like they've borrowed a lot of things from Grimdark Future. I think it's a great idea. And it says here they've also got lone operative characters, things like assassins, so you can run them without units. And then they've got rules to stop them being blown off the table. The vehicles article looks quite good in that they're getting rid of this split profiling and stacking damage where they start to degrade. They said in the article, I think they're going to keep it for some vehicles, but it's no longer
basically reads as Lords of War.
Yeah,
I would hazard a guess.
Yeah, they're going to keep it for the big, cool centerpiece models, but it's no longer going to be something that happens with
He's on a Rhino.
every single vehicle. Yeah, which is all about reducing the overhead, isn't it? The rules overhead, which is a winner.
Well, again, it's actually target prioritization wise, it takes you longer to ask your opponent how many wounds has that got left, and then work out what sort of bracket it's in and what damage it can be doing, than just going, okay, no, yeah, that's a thing and that needs to be gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. And I get, some people have this. For some people, it's a good thing because there are the simulationists say, oh, well, it doesn't make any sense that something fights at full effectiveness down to its last wound, blah, blah, blah. But it's a war game.
I don't know. Has somebody spoken with the Russian tank operatives lately? Because up until the point that they have a grenade toss through the hatch, they're usually pretty operative.
It's like... It's a war game, people. You've got to sacrifice some granularity and realism to actually get the game played in a reasonable amount of time. Unless you want to go down the route of the what's that mech game?
Which one are you thinking of?
The classic one. Oh, help me out, people. Battletech. Where you have like a... To be fair, it's very similar, I guess, to... you get that sort of granularity in Adeptus Titanicus, where you've got like, you track weapon damage and react to damage and that sort of thing. But then
I was about to say, War Machine with the what's damaged, where's damaged on the card.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yep. But to be fair, I mean, again, War Machine gets away with it because you've got so few models.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like,
I guess it's something that has its place, and it's not always a bad idea. But you've got to consider the rules overhead with what you're working with, haven't you?
What I class as skirmish games, like anything up to probably about 25 miniatures, fine. When you've got a table of 40, 50 miniatures plus 5 or 6 tanks, it's like, no.
Yeah, it's too much. I mean, Stuff Years says that they're basically unwinding a lot of the stuff they've done with 8th and 9th. Battletech. Yeah, in a skirmish game. But then again, do you really want vehicles in a skirmish game? Because it can be so fucking lopsided, can't it?
Yeah, here's my... Again, you only have to look at bolt action and German tanks and causing fucking tiger fear and everything.
Yeah. That's one of the things I do like about bolt action. It's like, you know, they say limit you to one tank per platoon, basically, in most cases, because they don't want it to become the thing that the game revolves around. If you want to play with lots of armor,
Flames and War instead.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to play with a ton of armor, you want a different game. And we discussed this before on the stream. I love it when game designers have got a very clear idea of what they want their game to do, and they keep focused on that. I think that's always been a problem with 40k and the GW design team.
It's trying to wear too many hats.
Yeah, it's that everyman thing. You know, you can't design a rule system that plays everything from 5 models up to 500 models, and doesn't just fall apart. It's, you need a tighter grip on what you're trying to actually achieve.
Who are matron?
So that's the news. Do you guys have anything that you wanted us to have a look at? Stick it in the chat now. With a ton of if or armor, you get a different... Yeah, you do want a different scale of game. I mean, you see, again, back in the day, that's why it was nice when Games Workshop had Epic. Because it was like, if you want to bring an entire company of Shadow Swords, that's the game. You know? Trying to... I suppose now they've just got... Because they've canned that off and gone with just the 2 games, AOS and 40k, and then said, oh, well, they're playable from a small scale up to a massive scale. They're just creating them tons of problems for themselves.
Yep.
I was always surprised that the Apocalypse thing didn't work better. I mean, it obviously wasn't very successful because they didn't keep it.
You'd think... Well, again, I think the problem with Apocalypse... Fucking stay up there, laptop, whatever. What's up with you? Oh, for fuck's sake. Come here. No, my camera has frozen. Let's go have a look at that, shall we, a minute? No. I know what you're saying about... It's a shame, like, Adeptus Titanicus hasn't got all that extra shit in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What you mean, all of the extra stuff? Just to reassure you, mate, it is definitely... Yeah, your camera's back on. I think it's Discord, my end, is just binning it.
Fair enough.
I don't think there's anything you can do. Yeah, I was disappointed that when Adeptus Titanicus had been around for a while, that they didn't remake the Epic
Shadow
game.
Swords and stuff.
But I guess
what it is.
The thing is, again, they want their Games Workshop have become almost a pilot high company, haven't they? They want to sell everything in mass. They're not interested in the little edge cases anymore. The little fringe games. They want to put all of their eggs in the big performers.
And then look at how many fucking rule books there are and releases for Necromunda.
True. To be fair, they're their own worst enemy, because if they did
There's no consistency across the range.
if they did small self-contained games, they wouldn't create a ton of overhead that then they can't justify through poor sales. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, I suppose it's like about board game companies. They just do a game, release a game, it's out in the wild. If it does well, we'll consider doing a supplement for it. But if it doesn't, that's fine. The game's still out there, doing its thing. You know.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, you know, everything has to be, I guess it's the nature of the business, isn't it? Everything's got to be a multi-million-pound super project. It's like, well, really, no, it doesn't. So it's a little bit early, but shall we get into our main topic?
Yeah, because actually we can spend some time pulling up stuff and discussing and showing on stream, can't we?
Do you think Orinoco says that they might remake Epic to get some BattleTech money? Do you think those players might be drawn into a game at the smaller scale, as in smaller scale rather than scale? Yeah, this is the thing. I don't understand them. I don't understand them at all. Anyway, so
it's easier to sit there and ignore them than try and understand their logic because it changes so frequently.
Yeah. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So,
But we're
David,
not kicking GW.
not tonight. So you've got it in your head that you want to get into a fantasy game, but something that's not skirmish level. So more than, as you said earlier, more than 25 miniatures aside.
Yeah.
So what's sort of driving you to want to go down this route? Is it the hobby side of it, or do you want the gaming experience, or a bit of both?
It's a bit of both. So obviously, I'm terrible. I have 2 half-painted 40k armies plus another 2 basically that are just assembled. So I have Death Guard, Tau, AdMech, and Space Marines from Salamanders. Got about 3k points of Tau and 3k points of Sally's. So that's my big game. I then have, for those that have been on stream before and seen them, some Iron Jaws miniatures for AOS Fantasy. Or fucking Age of Sigmar, technically. And I also have a start collecting box of Sylvaneth. So I have the Tree Lord, the Branch Witch, and the, what's it called?
Dryads?
Yes, Dryads. That's the word I was thinking of. But they are unbuilt and unpainted.
Okay, fair enough.
And my Iron Jaws army is fully built and only a little bit painted. So they're my big games. Then, because I'm a hobby magpie, I can play. Basically, I play a different game every week. So either Star Scrappers, Battle Drill, or Drop Zone Commander, or Carnivale, or the list just carries on and on and on. And whilst I love my skirmish games because the hobby overhead is nil in the scheme of things.
Yeah, negligible.
And the rules are fucking amazing and like totally different. Like Carnivale and DZC play totally differently.
I'm surprised you put in DZC in the small scale bracket, because you can have quite a lot of assets on the table with a DZC game.
You can, but they're, for me, they're fucking 10mm minis.
Okay, so that
They
feeds.
paint in fuck all time. Like
Right.
my Sheltari, what are they? Color shift through an airbrush. My
Yeah.
Scourge, what are they? Color shift through an airbrush. UCM, oh well, they've got a camo scheme on them. PHR, they've got a camo scheme on them. How do I do all of that? Airbrush and stickers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
it's cheating, but they paint really quickly.
but it's got the gameplay thing. It's got
The gameplay for me is
it's got the scale of the
nice.
game, but the hobby overhead is minimal.
Yeah. And you can't tell me that a Scourge, whatever, you can easily tell the difference between like a commander model in DZC and a normal troop model, because you really can't. Like there is no real feature piece minis other than those behemoths, and
That is
they're
true.
£90. So I'm not buying a behemoth at the moment. And the other problem is, if I buy a behemoth, I own 5 factions, so that could be a slippery slope.
Yeah, it gets itself roped into buying one for each.
Yeah. So that's why DZC doesn't really scratch the itch for me.
So, devil's advocate, why not just start a new Age of Sigmar style army?
I could. However, my point to you...
I mean, I know you don't like the Age of Sigmar rule set, but you've got one-page rules Age Fantasy.
Yeah, my point here is, whilst it's cool, at club, we have, 4 or 5 people that play AOS regularly?
Yeah.
Me, you, Ricky, Luke.
Yeah, I guess. I wouldn't say regularly, but play it, yeah.
No, but that's my point. Do you know what I mean? It's a limited cohort. I know by going down a new game, I'm going to be in an even more limited cohort, because it'll be roping yourself in, for example, or roping in some of the other lads with substitute minis. But there's just something about ranking up an entire army in rank and flank style versus AOS.
Okay.
Where everything's individual and you can scatter it around and everything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know
it's
exactly what you mean.
It's got the movement template elements of Gaslands. It's got the finagling and positioning of Infinity. It combines a few different kettles of fish under one thing.
Yeah, sure.
And the reason I was looking at Kings of War is obviously I have Armada. I have Dwarves for Armada. I love my Dwarf Armada minis. I'm possibly going to buy the stuff that's on sale and complete my Dwarf Armada collection. And because I'm a suckler for linking shit, I was thinking, it'd be really cool to have like a naval battle, then a land battle where they're landing on the beaches. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And coming ashore.
Yeah.
And having like this sort of linked narrative campaign style game.
Definitely.
Because the other thing is, there are several other lads at club that are equally into Armada, and I'm sure with a little bit of persuasion, we could have a few rank and flank players as well.
I think because of the hobby overhead, it's always going to be a harder sell. I think.
Yes.
It's
a harder sell.
For that reason alone.
A lot of people at club, in the past 12 months, me, myself included, are happier cutting corners.
Yeah, you've really turned a corner with that.
So yeah, it's
definitely something you want to do.
It is something I want to do. And yes, I could do dwarves in skirmish and then just have a handful of dwarf minis and paint them up all really nicely and do fucking complete and utter hard mode on them. I totally could. But I wanted to try some Kings of War or some 8th edition to have an excuse to play a game with you.
Okay.
Because it's not something you get to do that often.
No, that's true. Basically, it's just V who plays fantasy with me.
And you do a lot of shit with me.
Yep.
So repay the favour.
Okay, so we've tried Kings of War, and it was a meh experience.
Yeah, it wasn't. I wasn't blown away by it.
And you've mentioned that you didn't like the nerve system.
No, I really didn't like the nerve system.
So
Kings of War allows cutting corners? Yes, it does, cheese me. Multi-basing.
yeah, that is a huge thing with Kings of War. Now, the only two that I'm familiar with are Warhammer Fantasy Battles and Kings of War. So Kings of War we've talked about, you've tried it. Now, how do you feel about Warhammer Fantasy Battles?
Currently, it's dead.
That is the concern that I have for you. It's all right for me because it's got the nostalgia thing, but it is a dead game. Currently.
It's like, okay, I can pick shit up on eBay if it's available on eBay. But I've got to watch it like a hawk religiously to get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not as easy to just go and go, oh, well, I'll go pick that up this month because I've got a bit of extra money burning a hole in my pocket. Do you see my point?
To be fair, I would think that you would just 3D print because
yes, I would just 3D print.
There are loads of. So, for example, if you were to talk dwarves, you can use the large range of Mantic models to fill out your core slots. And then for units that you don't have analogies to in Kings of War, like miners, you can probably find
some on the internet.
Yeah,
somewhere.
You'll find STLs for miner minis. I don't know if you noticed, somebody asked in the chat whether you had I think it was Crispin, whether you had a good STL for a Felix model out of Gotrek, like Gotrek and Felix. I don't know if you know who that is.
No. Explain.
So, Felix was, or Gotrek, okay, yeah, was a dwarf slayer. So, do you know what I mean by the dwarf slayers? The ginger blokes who were naked with the massive axes. And
I've seen a couple. Island Miniatures springs to mind.
He was immortalised in a series of novels, and essentially, for the Gotrek and Felix thing was a bit of a riff on the Fafard and the Grey Mouser stories by Fritz Leiber. Was very much a riff on that, to be fair.
What was the other thing? Wargames Atlantic.
Okay.
They have some pretty tasty dwarves. I own some of them.
Have they got STLs?
Yes, and resin casts.
So they do both.
Yep.
So fantasy, you're put off by the fact that it's dead. I mean, one advantage of it being dead is you're not going to see any new releases soon. If you want to track down stuff, you've got
famous fucking last words.
Well,
look what's on the horizon.
Yeah. Okay. So, what about just holding out until Older World's released?
I could. I really could. I can fill out my dwarven itch with painting some Frostgrave Dwarves. Get that Frostgrave Dwarf warband finished. Get some games recorded. That kind of stuff. I could do that. But again, it's something I'm liking at the moment with this league, right? It sounds weird because I'm batch painting like little units of 4 and 5. Or in the case of tonight, there's like 10 units of 4 or 5 on the fucking table. But the point still stands of there's something about getting the speed paint, getting them all fucking lined up, and just going, right, I'm turning my mind off. I know how I'm painting this. Let's just get on with it.
Yeah, let's just slap it on and be done.
Yes. And...
Ooh. Yeah, Felix is the Slayer, Gotrek is his friend. Limburger, thank you for correcting me, mate. I never know which one's which.
Currently really enjoying using speed paint and contrast. Because
Orinoco's just shouted out, mate. Skybore dwarves.
Skyboy, yeah, I've heard and seen a few.
Okay, so just in case you hadn't looked at them, I mean,
it's
the only concerns I would say, the only concerns I have about holding out for Old World is Games Workshop's Kiss of Death.
It's either going to work or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And let's be brutally honest, what it's probably going to be.
It could easily be a car crash, which is probably a little bit negative Nancy of me, but I'm sorry, but they don't have a great track record.
They've got prior for it. So yeah, we went away and we also had a look, because obviously there's only a couple that were springing to mind for us.
Well, this is the thing. I thought that there would be more of these games than there actually are. And this is where you guys can sound off in chat. We've already had Conquest, Last Argument of Kings mentioned.
And I do quite like the look of the miniatures. But there's not the classic fantasy tropes of a bunch of dwarves or halflings running up a hill.
Yes, that is one of the drawbacks with that game, isn't it? They've really leaned into building their own world and their own aesthetic, and you don't get bog standard.
Again, in a fantasy style, you could mention what's it called? George R.R. Martin.
Song of Ice and Fire. Good shout.
Yes.
It's definitely got the game mechanics built into it, because it obviously is a rank and flank multi-base game.
But I couldn't give a tinker's jizz about George R.R. Martin and Game of Thrones.
Well, that's the other thing. It's a very low fantasy setting, and it's essentially humans versus humans. To all intents and purposes, isn't it?
It's the medieval age.
Yeah, I mean, you do get, like, the Wildings have giants and
the White Walkers.
Yeah, but to all intents and purposes, it's humans versus humans. And that puts you off?
Yes, I couldn't give a tinker's jizz about George R.R. Martin and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, if you don't buy into the IP,
again,
that's massive.
I would rather buy Lord of the Rings miniatures.
And the problem with that is, I mean, there isn't a Lord of the Rings mass combat system.
No, there isn't. But
I think there was at one point, but they discontinued it. Support
Conquest is not the standard fantasy, which is kind of cool. Scale is bigger for Conquest. It's 40 mil, the future of 20 mil heroic for GW.
Yeah, that's the other thing that concerns me about Conquest, is how much do I have to upscale terrain? Now, I'm guessing probably not much, because it's just forests and rivers and stuff like that, but which are a bit abstract anyway. But I bet you...
Excuse me, Game of Thrones equals War of the Roses. Yeah, I mean, that is a fair fair analogy.
I mean, Game of Thrones is literally one step off a historical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like such low fantasy.
It basically is a historical, let's be brutally honest.
Yeah.
I'm just going to dive out a shot a second.
So, the other one that was in the thumbnail and was a bit of a low-hanging fruit one was Oathmark.
By our Lord and Saviour, Joseph McCullough.
Well, you do have a massive hard-on for Joseph's rule sets and games, don't you? Does anybody here play Oathmark while we're talking about it in the chat? Would it I've watched a few videos. I think Osprey did a how to play,
Let's play,
a little rules thing. What do you guys have? Do you guys have any experience with Oathmark? I know I've heard it discussed on OTT, and I think poor old
Jerry?
Joseph was a victim of lockdown because it was released at just the wrong time, where everybody went into lockdown almost as soon as it came out, and it sort of stifled any traction it might have had. And I wonder if it's the dark horse that we're sleeping on. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Does it deserve more? And is it just a victim of circumstance? And it does have classic fantasy tropes as far as I'm... Oh, and you do your own world building in Oathmark, apparently. That does sound quite cool, geez me. Because that's, especially if that's a dimension that you want to go in with your hobby, you know, expand, you know, creating your own narratives and that. That does sound very cool. Because essentially, I mean, I know North Star do an official range of miniatures, but it is just a rule set, isn't it?
As per the rest of Joseph McCullough's releases.
Yeah.
Got some minis, yes. Got some dice, yes. You can play my game.
And it's not expensive, is it?
No, D10 system as well. So...
Yes, which I really liked when I saw it played. I must confess, guys, I don't know how you guys feel, but if I never play another D6 system again, that's fine. I just find that the spread on the dice is, unless you're playing
tight. It's always crits.
Unless you're playing a dice pool, literally, unless you're writing your rule set where it's dice pool, you know, and you have an expanding and contracting dice pool that you roll for your check, D6 doesn't work. You know, the old X for a success fail thing. It's the only way to go with D6 because the bloody spread on them is too tight for games. Yeah, I guess that's fair, cheese me, where you've got very evenly matched. You see, this is what, if you've got evenly matched factions, I mean, Bolt Action's a great example. Everything is the same. So the D6 thing doesn't seem a problem because veteran Luftwaffe, you know, Fallschirmjäger are the same as veteran Marine commandos. It's like, it sort of disappears blends into it.
Ether.
So what's this Jake Thornton's fantasy game, or Thornton? You see, this is where
So
I'm going to have to Google.
I was going to say, people are going to have to. This is going to definitely be a watch back stream.
I'm going to Google through this in a minute. Just let me get this leg done.
Because the other one we saw was Irregular Wars, wasn't it?
Oh, that's a good shout. I'd forgotten that. Yes. So, now OTT had a playthrough video with this with Jerry. I think it was about a year ago. And it was
something like that.
A scale agnostic mass combat game. I think they played it at 10 mil. But obviously you could just play it at 28 mil.
28.
The rule system is entirely scale agnostic. But to be fair, that did have a lot of elements of Kings of War.
And also historicals. Because in the I did a bit of digging on the internet, and like they've got Phoenician lists and Persian lists and Greek lists and everything. It is does everything, and the other thing is if there's no stats for your particular unit you're thinking of, because you're playing fantasy, they do encourage you to just build your fucking own. To build your units, which, okay, on one hand, it's cool and gives you a good idea. On the other hand, I want a war game I can just say to someone, here you go, here's the book, build whatever you've got list-wise to play a game of. Do you know what I mean? I'm already in a niche with wanting to play fantasy and play some fantasy dwarves. I'm going to be even more in a niche if I start telling people, actually, well, before you play this game, you've got homework. Feel about that, Paul?
Sorry, mate. Well, I was just looking up this God of Battles.
I was just saying, like, Irregular Wars.
Yes.
Has that function of if there's no stats for your particular unit, they recommend you go out and build your own and give you some like suggestions on how to build your unit and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like I was just saying to the people on stream, was that's all well and good, but for example, if you are playing or V are playing with me, I don't particularly want to just say, here's the rule book for a week, go home and do your homework and make your list.
Yeah, I got you. I get you. I mean, that sort of flexibility is nice, but sometimes you do want a more curated experience, don't you? You don't want to have to do everything yourself. So no, that's totally fair. Yeah, so I'm looking up this God of Battles by Jake Thornton. This is another one that we've missed. It's a fantasy wargaming rules in which players command armies of models to battle against each other. He was the rules writer for Dreadball by Mantic.
Okay.
Dwarf King's Hold and Project Pandora, all for Mantic Games. He's done design work for... Do you know what? I thought the name... He's done design work for GW, Warhammer 6th Edition, Blood Bowl, Necromunda and Mordheim. I thought I recognised the name. Wow! 285-page rulebook.
Beast, then.
Okay, this is a good shout, people. Thank you very much for that. You see, this is why we have these guys along.
You're here for the journey, not the ride.
Yes, you'll just have to bear with David's camera. It's gone. It's back. It's stalled. It's frozen. It's gone. It's back. Thank you, Discord.
Is Paul downloading his 4K pornography?
I wish. There was also that one that Geek Gaming Scenics showed.
Well, we've also said about what is it, Dragon Rampant?
That is not rank and flank, though.
No, but is it mass?
No, well, I don't know.
Or is it
Is the brutal
skirmish?
truth? I imagine you can scale Dragon Rampant up to get a lot of miniatures on the table. Yeah, Dragon Rampant. It's designed, so Limburger says Dragon Rampant is designed at skirmish scales.
Okay.
And that's what it's balanced for. So I don't think that's what you're looking for,
Peace
mate.
out. Yep.
Yeah, it's not going to be. Thanks very much for that, Limburger. That's not. I've played.
Always appreciated.
I've played Dragon Rampant at Peterborough.
Hereward.
Con. Yeah, Hereward Wargaming. And it is the game I played. Certainly was like 15-20 miniatures aside.
Yeah.
So I think it's designed for that sort of scale.
No, that's again. That's fair. I'm just spamming names and getting feedback while we have brains to pick.
Now, this has come up. Essentially, there's that one that Geek Gaming Scenics did a thing about. That was 10 mil, I believe. But you've already said for hobby, we want to discount everything that's not 28 mil or bigger.
15 is probably about the smallest I'd go.
So you would do 15.
But again, that one that you said about from Luke, I had a look at the miniatures. They're pretty simple because they're only 10 mil.
Yeah. But you could create your own miniatures for it, couldn't you?
Yes, but the point still stands. At 10 mil scale, stuff pales into insignificance. It's dots of paint here and there to give you a sense of detail. Versus painting properly.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you, really, mate. So,
Yes.
I mean, you could take one-page rules Seraphon knockoff and scale them down to 10 mil.
To 10, yeah.
I don't know how they would look, as I'm not
and the
up
fact
on
that
this
they'd all
3D
need fucking
printing
resupporting.
Sorry?
And they'd all need resupporting.
Would they print okay, or do you think they would? Would the models look quite clunky?
Ooh, there's only one way to find out, I guess. Bear with me, boys and girls. We'll probably have feedback next week.
Oh, okay. That's the point. Does anybody in the chat have experience at printing at different scales?
Yeah, because this is actually FSD. FSD is my first foray into upscaling, and the Lazy Forger is a really cool dude, really cool in Discord, has recommended if you want to print at 10 mil scale them between 140, 160 mil, 160%. It's your personal preference as to what scale you come out to. And then there's some lads that have taken pictures of stuff relative to other stuff and gone, this is 140, this is 150, this is 160% scale. This actually fits in line with some other 10 mil stuff that I play with really well. But then you compare it to this 10 mil or supposedly 10 mil scale game and it doesn't scale at all. So again, if there's a community for picking up these miniatures or discussing these kinds of miniatures
Scaling
for smaller scale stuff, fucking all there for it. Like even Irregular Wars, because Irregular Wars is designed to be scale agnostic. There are lads that have said, "Oh well, if you go to so and so creator, they do some really nice 10 mil models for this, that, and t'other, and then go to this creator for these models." And do you know what I mean?
So the community's already there to point you in the right direction to get the assets, which is a win because it's less work.
Yes.
So actually,
I only have so many hobby hours.
All the bets are off as far as scale.
Within reason, yeah. Other than probably 10.
So you reckon 15,
15 and above.
just so that you can get the painting nice.
Well, I don't need to use a pubic hair to paint detail, for example.
Yeah, but to be fair, you wouldn't, would you? It's like you said. You just give a general impression with shades, with washes, get it as clean as you can, and just leave it.
Yeah.
Okay. Warlords of
Tim's
Erewhon.
a secret 3D printer. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Fucking
I did see.
Orinoco is throwing shade in the chat. Fucking, you're gonna have the Inquisition at your door, Orinoco.
Yeah, I did see Tim's facetious remark. No, he's not rescaled any 3D prints because he doesn't 3D print.
Warlords of Erewhon. By
Yes,
Rick
I was just
Priestley.
about to say I saw somebody throw up Warlords of Erewhon. Now, Warlords of Erewhon, each model is individually based, but I don't know how big it goes. Limburger, he
That's
says
what
it's
she
skirmish.
said.
So what is it? 20 to 30 models, Limburger? So that's probably not what we're looking for anyway.
Anschluss, just thrown out there by Cheese Me. Tim throwing out Inquisition and Anschluss. Let's go have a look at this Anschluss. Let's see what that's like.
Okay. Obviously the audio is going to glitch, people, because I am going to be opening new web
Interneting
pages.
Paul is interneting hard. This fucking Blackened Barrel from Foundry does a lot of legwork.
I've got a company called Anschluss Wargames, but they do historical World War II. I'm missing something here, people.
It's not rank and flank. Don't you speak German? No, I don't speak fucking German.
I knew that German was. I knew that Anschluss was a German term, but basically, it's German for Connect. Right. We will gloss over that. So that was a red herring.
A chat trolling us.
Yeah.
Are we good enough that chat are trolling us now?
Yeah, we're missing the joke because we're ignorant Brits.
I mean, I don't know. We actually go for showers.
Ooh, shots fired. Shots fired, everybody.
Crude jokes. I'm sorry.
Right.
You got the love you need to see me through. We also did Anschluss to Poland, Netherlands, and the likes.
Oh my god, I don't know what they're talking about now. The Germans were haughty when they started World War II.
Oh, I remember. This is coming back to me from World War II history.
Yes.
Connecting the German people to.
Yeah. Well done. You got us. So that God of Battles is a great lead. I'll have to check and see if I can find any
I mean, that one that Luke did, I think the rulebook's like fucking £2 as a PDF.
Yeah, you did say it was insanely cheap. So I think we've covered pretty much all of the games that we might want to look at. It's just a case of deciding where do you want to go? I mean, obviously, you said we've scheduled in a larger scale game of Kings of War, just to make sure that that's not a thing. Give it its chance.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't throw it out with the bathwater.
no.
We'll top the bath up first.
Because, again, we've discussed this on the stream before. You can bounce off a game at first blush.
Because of dice rolls or...
Well, because of all sorts of things, but I think it's important to give it its chance.
Yeah, it needs a fair assessment.
I'll tell you one thing that is quite easy to do. The Allies system in Kings of War is really good. So if you want to create mixed armies, it's not a massive headache. And the other thing that I do like from Kings of War, the whole army building is very slick. In that you buy a regiment and that just unlocks your other troop choices, whether it's heroes or war machines or whatever, monsters. So it forces you to build around core regiments.
Yeah.
Which is a very...
There's no hero spam bollocks.
Yes, which was the thing that sort of fucked up Warhammer Fantasy Battles, where it became irrelevant what troops you bought, because it was the heroes you embedded in the units that won the game. Basically. And that's definitely a legit criticism of older editions of Warhammer Fantasy Battles.
How's your painting going?
Yeah, it's going okay. I've still got a ton of skin to cover. But basically, this model is just skin. So, I'm not going to be producing fast results like you. Not tonight, Josephine.
And tonight... Oh dear, right. That is some metallics down. I've finished some halflings.
Completed?
Other than bases, yes.
Oh, okay.
Should we go down to my camp?
We can do.
Come on, you bitch.
Oh. He's not ready for me, people. I've been premature.
There we go.
Now he's ready. Yeah. This is what I like about those speed paint products. When you get everything covered and cover all the primer, the whole thing just sort of like coalesces and is done.
And then I've painted the chef's weapons. And
I think you've got your microphone on your thingy again, mate. But don't worry about it.
I turned it off.
That's fine.
Okay. His weapons and his leather shoulder pad and straps holding it all on. Just need to paint his trousers and his.
And how are you feeling about the white now?
I don't like it. Still.
So what's the plan? Are you just going to live with it?
I might be getting some white growth from Vallejo and just going on the edges.
Okay. Basically, so add your own highlights in.
Yeah. Basically, and tidy up where it's pulled. But that's where we're at so far,
Nice.
And then I've been splashing some colours on some of the others. So. What am I doing? I'm done with my camera now, mate.
Yep, that's fine. I'm off you.
I was just checking before I moved it.
That's interesting.
What's that?
Okay. I've worked out what's happening with your camera.
What?
So basically, every time I move to like Firefox, it loses your Discord feed, which is random as fuck. Tim, why would that be happening? Why would that be a thing? I'm sure if we watch this back, we'll probably see every time I start playing with the web browser is when your
Discord drops.
video starts ditching. That's interesting.
News, boys and girls.
So, have you got any... Oh, yeah, it's skirmish though, isn't it? So, have we got them all? Or are there any other fantasy regiment scale games? Then I was expecting there to be like a ton of these rule sets, like that were adaptations or conversions of pure historical ones.
Yeah.
And I was a bit surprised when I started sort of Google fooing it, and they didn't
The survey
come
said,
up. I think Oathmark is something we should look at, simply because it's Joseph.
And we love a bit of Joseph in our lives. Joseph and his Technicolor game design suite.
I think it'll be easy for you to collect miniatures for it.
Yeah. Well, it might actually give me an excuse to spend some money at North Star.
Yep.
No, my internet is not too slow. It be Paul, because it be Paul's end.
You see, so watching the chat, peeps, I'm going to, in the background, go into Firefox, see what happens to David's video feed.
Hi guys, bye guys, hi guys, bye guys, hi guys, bye guys. You watch, because it's under pressure on the stage. It won't do it this time.
Yeah, no, it has done it.
Oh, there we go.
So we've just had a shout out. You've got 15mm fantasy ranges. Let's bring this up. Web browser.
Orinoco, alternative armies do something for 15 minutes.
Yep. Let's bring this. Right, and then... So what's... For some reason... That's interesting. So basically... When I'm focusing... When I'm focusing on Firefox, or when I'm operating it within Windows, Windows is treating Discord like it's minimized.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, the stuttering sound is whenever I operate my internet web browser, people. Do apologise for that. So, do these people... Again, I bet David's gone. Yeah, there he goes.
No, I'm here.
I bet... Do these people do rules, or do they just do miniatures?
Because ideally, I'd like a one-stop shop.
It looks like it's just miniatures, but... Oh no, there are rules here. Oh my god, they do Prohibition Gangsters. 6mm science fiction. What the hell?
They got any Cthulhu?
Oh god. Oh my god. Right.
We lost Paul to the rabbit hole.
Oh, good shout. Was this Orinoco who put this one up? Good shout, yeah. Orinoco. Yeah, this rabbit hole, it needs exploring. Yeah, they do a rule set. Okay. It's added to the list. We will explore. This is genius. Oh, that's 2 good leads. And it's 15mm as well. And they've got a 20% off sale.
Fuck my wallet. Oh, boys and girls, I realised something that we didn't talk about in the news.
What?
Guess what ends, like, now?
Oh, the Dungeon Saga Kickstarter.
Yeah.
To be fair, do you know what? As I was bringing up the tabs from last week's stream, I did think, oh, it's still running technically. We could mention it. But I think it's had its moment in the sun.
Oh, no, it's had its moment. It's just the fact that it's done. It's done and completed. I believe. I'm just double checking.
Do you know what was nice about it was that it was such a simple campaign, and it wasn't just an orgy of bloody indulgence.
Tell it right, it's got 41 hours.
Okay, so just under 4 days. No,
Your
2 days.
math is fucking terrible.
I know
2
what I
days.
meant.
Fucking 41 hours is 4 days.
No,
No,
stop picking on me.
It's not bullying if I don't stop.
What? That's some fucked up logic. Oh my god, we've got Toros in here. Hello, Toros. I spy with my little eye. The OTT drums have called in an expert. Toros. So we've got Fantasy Warriors, Fantastic Battles. That was the scale agnostic one that we talked about by Irregular Wars. Warmaster, obviously. Warmaster Revolution. Is that like a fan-supported Warmaster continuation, mate? The 6mm GW game? Or is it just a coincidence of naming? Lords and Lands and Demon World. Oh, Toros, you absolute friggin' legend, sir. Well, there's a ton for us to look at there, mate. Demon World.
We'll go exploring.
It was 10 mil. Okay, thanks, mate. Yeah, so it looks like that's the mass combat GW one that's been kept going by the community. Oh my god.
I'm loving fucking Blackened Barrel.
You're using it on your League of Infamy?
Yes, because it covers over fucking white amazingly.
Yeah, to be fair, it's perfect to have in your repertoire for those speed paint projects, isn't it?
From Foundry, boys and girls.
You got that in a
model box.
That's it, yeah. I say one of them subscription box thingies. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint this ridge, and then, even though we know it's going to kill David's Discord feed and make
We're going to the internet again.
Rubbish, we'll pull up some of the things Toros has put there. So we got Fantasy Warriors.
No, cheers, guys, in chat for pointing us in the right direction, because me and Paul were umming and ahhing for hours. We were fucking Google pooing. We found a few, went exploring down a couple of rabbit holes, but you guys pull them out and point us all in the right directions.
Fantastic battles we've done. Warmaster Revolution, Lords and Lands, and Demon World.
Warmaster sounds like it'll be too small for me.
I agree, mate. Yeah.
again, I would like something. For example, I could do some cool ass banners in the unit, and either flex my freehanding muscle. Not that it's a particularly strong one of mine, or flex my CAD and being able to use computer skills, and then decal it.
I've just thought, mate, you should pick Toros's brain, because this looks like this is his ballpark. So
I'm gonna have to get backstage, aren't I? So I can get on the Discord.
I think I've found it. Lords and Lands is the one by Lulu Publishing, I'm guessing.
Fantasy Warriors is a very old game, but still plays well and is all free now. And you can play them all in any scale you want. All Tim's throwing out the fucking Kickstarters, Paul.
Yeah, that Shambling Bones is that skeleton one. Yeah, do you remember him painting those miniatures? And he had those really cool pieces like a skeleton on a stretcher and stuff. That's where all those were from, I think.
They're in another set, Tim.
Let's go over to this. So, here we go. That's that alternative armies. Grenadier here. Now, this is the one Toros says this is all free. It's a command and control emphasis game, but you can have monsters and stuff.
That is one thing I did like about Irregular Wars and the Fantastic one.
Yeah.
The fact that it wasn't a unit v unit, it was about your commander and like you being the general of the army.
Look at that too. I will PM you, Toros, on the Discord, mate. That would be awesome. Oh right, no, those were from Morg Miniatures. Shambling Bones is another one. Okay, well, we'll have to have a look at that. And it was just miniatures, Tim, was it? Just to be clear. It's not a rule set or anything like that. So that's a War Master. We all know War Master. This is the GW one. Demon World, 15mm. So that's another one that we've got to look at.
You guys are giving me all the fucking homework.
So presumably, is Demon World a set of rules as well then? Presumably it is.
Oh, actually, while I have chat here...
There are 702 entries in the Demon World 15mm section of this website. That's rather a lot. What the
While
hell?
I've got chat here, and we're on the subject of sharing's caring and picking everybody's brains.
And here's Lords and Lands.
If anyone has played the Hellboy board game or any of its expansions, throw your opinions in chat now or throw them down in the comments. Because I'm contemplating it. Because why not?
Yeah, you've been thinking about that for a few weeks now, haven't you?
Yes, I have, and I haven't. I've watched one or two of the Let's Plays, but I haven't had time really to what's it called? Watch them properly.
Oh, very nice. We've got spin casting. So this is this Kickstarter that Tim's pointing us at. showing his
They
spin
look
casting
awesome.
process. Oh man, these are old school. They remind me of some of the metals from, oh, what's the name of that company that does all the huge Kickstarters, mate? You love them. Do all the D&D minis.
No.
Sorry?
Reaper.
That's it. Yeah. The Reaper metals have got this really heavily ridged, sharply defined look. Oh my god.
Paul,
Yep.
while you were on there, I have just had something come up as recommended for me, and it's only got 14 hours to go.
Yes.
A tail's end. Tail as in like a rat tail.
Okay.
A bunch of mice miniatures for miniature wargaming.
These are 3D print now, aren't they?
They are 3D print. I know Tim will be immediately turned off,
Yeah.
but oh my god.
Tim's out.
Oronoko's had a friend play it and enjoyed it.
I tell you what, these would be cool for burrows and badgers, just alternative miniatures. Yeah, they're quite cool. I must confess I do love anthropomorphic animals as a miniature idea. They are very much my bag. Interesting.
Well, you'll be cutting your teeth on something new, won't you? Soon.
What do you mean?
Bust painting.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They do look very like the Mice and Mystic board game.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay, look. So Tim says, some dude on YouTube, Demon World was a hex-based rank game, and then Toros says they did a new set of the rules without the hexes, which is cool. A friend has played Hellboy and enjoyed it. Okay, cool.
No, I just wondered if anyone had any first-hand experience.
I know that you and Jerry have covered at least one project on it on OTT, Tim. Has Jerry played it? Do we know?
Is there anything Jerry hasn't played? That's probably the best place to start.
Fair. Oh, mate, that's just blown it wide open.
What, all of Torres's suggestions? I don't particularly... I'll use a size 8 here because, fuck it, we've got coverage to do.
So, Toros, if you're still in chat, David didn't like his first experience of Kings of War. He wasn't a massive fan of the nerve checks. Because obviously...
With the 2d6 plus wounds.
He felt it was
bit rando.
Too swingy. And, you know...
I know it should average out to a nice bell curve, but my dice said otherwise.
So based on that, of those games that you've just sort of like deluged us with,
out.
Is there anything? Because I think you liked pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
Do you see Tim? I bet you Jerry hasn't played BattleTech or 40k 9th edition. Oh dear. To be fair, you know, I bet Jerry has tried BattleTech. I'll be bloody shocked if he hasn't tried it. I mean, Christ almighty, it's been around long enough. That is really surreal. I have just managed to lose my paintbrush. How?
Pot kettle black.
Oh God. Oh God.
Did you put it down somewhere and then forget
I'm an
where it
idiot.
was?
I'm an idiot.
You open yourself
Yeah,
up to
rephrase
that
Battletech
live on...
Alpha Strike, yeah. Yeah, Age of Sigmar, he has... Basically, the GW flagship games, yeah, I imagine he doesn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Yeah. His thoughts on such things are well known. And frankly, who can
Second
blame
only
him?
to his opinions on digital-only rulebooks.
Yeah.
We love you, Jerry.
Yeah, so I'll get in touch with Taros, and he'll be able to let us have a copy of that Lords and Lands to look at.
That'd be awesome. I think we just throw the £2 towards that one that Luke recommended anyway, and give it a try.
Do you know what?
It's the price of a coffee.
Yeah, it's insanely cheap. Not to at least have a look at, isn't it?
Yeah.
What scale is it? 10?
Yeah.
I mean, we might be able to rescale it to 15. If that's really something we want to do. Mightn't we?
Fuck me, if we really want to go there, we can rescale it to 20.
And Limburger, the other thing Jerry hasn't done is RPGs with minis or round bases. Coffee for £2, yep. I'll be honest, that is pretty hyperbolic, Limburger. If you can get a coffee for £2 now, good luck. I think it even costs more than that for a fucking coffee from McDonald's. Doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. But I'm gonna fucking go prove you wrong. My McDonald's app, off we go. Don't need to order a coffee in right now, but order. McCafe. No, it's the McCafe iced stuff. McCafe hot drinks. I can get a flat white for £1.89.
Oh my god. He's right.
A latte for £1.89. I can get an espresso for 79p.
Well, there you go, people. You heard it here first. You can still get a coffee for £2. What the hell? Right, well, we've only 5 minutes to go. That was amazing. You guys are legends. And
thank you, Taros, and all the others that have contributed
to the person
tonight.
who dragged Taros in from the cold to basically open Pandora's box of miniature war games. Thank you very much. That was amazing. And David and I now have weeks and weeks of research ahead of us, checking these things out.
Maybe future episode.
Yeah. To be fair, we could do a when you've made your decision, we can do a recap.
I'm just thinking the other thing. It might be nice actually to explore these on video.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing myself.
If we play them.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing myself.
Because terrain commitments tested at games and fantasy are very minimal compared to.
Well, to be fair, you can just use all of your terrain at any scale. Really, it's just
that's what I'm saying.
That's just a big river. The only thing that is a problem is buildings, and if we leave them off the table.
Yeah, that's a Canadian redwood versus a small spruce.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But the point still stands. Fucking cheese me's giving us homework. There'll be questions next week.
That's fair.
Cheese me. don't knock the McDonald's coffee. It's better than some of the shit you get in like Starbucks and stuff.
To be fair, do you know what? Considering it is dirt cheap, McDonald's coffee is quite drinkable, I think. I mean, it's not coffee connoisseur territory, but it's not terrible.
No, it's genuinely, as we've said, drinkable.
And I drink my coffee black. So if there's that's the quickest way to find out whether somewhere's serving really shit coffee is have it black. Because if it tastes like fucking water
or gravel
or fagash in a solution, then you know that it's bad coffee. Because milk and sugar and that hide a ton of sins with coffee.
What is cheese me on?
Why? What's he put?
Next, you're going to say you want to wear a dress and high heels.
What?
Hence my question of what the fuck have you smoked
Oh
tonight?
no, it's a Monty Python reference.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm a lumberjack. Because he goes,
okay.
The mighty redwood, the larch. Hence Tim's comment.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. Genius.
I mean, lads, I'm not saying it, but have people seen what shirt I'm actually wearing this evening? Lumberjack.
To be fair, it is even exactly the same shirt that they wore in the sketch, I believe.
Red and black check.
Yeah, red and black lumberjack shirt. Okay. I wish I'd been a girly, just like my dear papa.
Yeah, to be fair, I did see that on your Insta, Tim. That mini you're painting, the white and pink one, is looking quite good, sir. Now it's had a panel lining.
I think it's a brave colour choice that worked really well. That pink looks fantastic.
What pink is that? Out of curiosity.
Now, I was paying attention. I think it's an army painter pink, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, pixie pink.
Pixie pink, yeah, that was it. It's a really nice colour.
Because I was going to say, I either have skin pink, or in that kind of range, or fucking magenta. That's the spectrum of my pink selection.
No, that's true. That's why I need to look at some of the game colour paints. I bet you... Oh, he's literally copied Hasbro's stock. I think you mentioned that when I said before that you were just copying what it was. Oh my god, it's degenerated. Right, it's gone 10 o'clock, people, and it's actually degenerated into a Monty Python-a-thon in the chat. So...
But it is a scratch. It is but a scratch.
Right. Thank you very much for everybody who came along tonight. Thank you to everybody in the chat. You were awesome, and you've given David and I a ton of things to go and look at. Now, as regards rank and flank fantasy miniature games, and hopefully we can find one that actually spum. We can find one that floats David's boat. If you're watching
we've already got that game, Paul.
Sorry?
It's called Armada. We've already got that game, Paul. It's called Armada.
For those of you watching along later on YouTube, thank you very much as well. If you can find time to do one thing, please like the video. If you can find time to do any of the other things that are listed down here, then that's also greatly appreciated. Sharing the video to friends who might enjoy it, posting comments and subscribing to our channel.
Can I just
apologise
have
for
one thing to
the technical difficulties tonight. Obviously, David and I will be working on trying to find an alternative to Discord by the looks of it, as it's no longer reliable, which is a shame. But we will hopefully try and get that fixed for the next live stream.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, mate?
And my thing is, we don't expect the Spanish Inquisition next week when we come back after doing our homework.
But nobody
Just saying it, people.
expects the Spanish Inquisition.
And on that note, I think it's time to go.
Yes, Skype is a good call, Limburger. We might have to do that. Okay. Right. Thank you very much, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the live stream, and we hope you got some hobby done in the 2 hours that you've been with us. And unless you've got anything else to add, mate, I reckon it's good night.
No, other than see you next week, same time, same place.
What about Assassin's Creed?